So I alternate talking about the content of the books behind me, which I keep showing you, all different things, including, if you want to learn to do kumihimo, I got a book on that too. Or belly dance. I'm not really that good of a teacher. If somebody says they're do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this, I'm pretty good at following along with martial arts as well. But when it comes to teaching somebody else to do it, doing it out of context, I'm really not that good. What I've worked on spontaneously and had to work with over and over again is finding my channels, finding reality in my channels, and dealing with an individual I call my guru that was also royally empowered and had access to other people who were royally empowered, access to intelligence agencies. Anything could have happened to me at any given moment. And if I didn't keep him friendly, it could have. There are people in this world that are not in this world anymore because of him, and directly or indirectly, all kinds of things. So for me, finding my channels was survival. Very important, because the closer I came to finding my channels, the closer I came to finding a place where we could talk, that nobody else could hear us, that he didn't have to follow through with his mission to eliminate me as a target. He didn't have to do all kinds of different things. And these are the things, when I say that the United States is not in effect, I mean, I was made in a lab here in the United States, kept in a observation box for like 3 or 4 years, impregnated at the age of 12, gave birth to Wakantanka, and let him live. And the reason I let him live, my guru said that, thousands of years of child-killing ancestry, and it had only been a couple of generations away from that he didn't even let me see the child until I think he was 14. At that point, even a Shaolin couldn't bring him down. And so I don't know what would have happened. You like to think that you would feel some warmness and stuff like that, but a lot of children at the age of 12, children don't start to survive birth until their mother is like 18 or more. And then not even then sometimes. You get in the habit. And I was surrounded by people, their society was, we killed our firstborns. The woman I call my grandmother didn't kill her firstborn until he was about 7 or 8, but she did it. And kept him in the basement for a long time because he wasn't the kind of kid that you would let roam around in broad daylight. And then she holds herself accountable because his birthday came and she went to go get him a birthday present. And they came with the x-rays and saw him down there and drug him out. So she holds herself accountable for his birth, and the sorority accepted that. Or his death. Yeah. So interlaced between all of these things, I studied. I set myself down, and in between doing, learning about how the U.S. government works for people who don't understand this still to this day, and learning about businesses and other things like that, I would sit there and study. Now, the books weren't always like this, but see, a lot of these books I worked with my guru on making sure that they were available, going through them at some point or another, helping to augment other people's legends. And because they are retiring, I'm saying this, because there were a lot more books. He had told them that if they did their work while sitting on the ground in 7-point posture, as close to it as you could get, and working on a bench on the ground, that you would have aligned your channels and worked with your posture and stuff, so that even in advanced old age, as my guru was over 100 when he died, he was working up, and I think he died with a pen in his hand. I mean, he was definitely died clutching a book. So this is something that you got to think about. So when you are trying to be whatever you are in this world, and trying to see, maybe something is imparted in authority on you, okay? But there are people out there who are not affected by that you have to have substance or you get no praise from us. And now sometimes that substance is you command the attention of an audience at a specific level that you stabilize to. You keep them engaged. That engagement generates context for other people who are doing other things and interconnectedness. But I don't want to do anything for any of these people that they should be paying somebody else to do. My guru set this up like a mousetrap, right? You do your work. You drew in a good door. You give some of that door to someone else so that he can help you prepare for the next performance, a different performance. And this is performance. The reality behind it, what we all practice ourselves, is often very different. I talked about this with the Kempos, that that what he was teaching in that moment was not what he practiced himself, but he learned about it. He went through a variety of different changes in his life to learn to be able to present this. He gave the teaching several times. And then he went through some different changes, learned another practice, and taught that practice. But his own daily practice, his own spiritual growth and all of that sort of stuff, not something he discusses. So when I got in with Kenshin, he showed me what he did for the Gana Puja. He brought me into his family. So these are things that are separate. See, this stuff is supposed to support householders that support the monasteries. And we want to have content on our levels and not be talked down to, like we don't know anything, like we can't learn this stuff. There are some things that prolonged monasticism and prolonged non-exaggerated lifestyle. So when you really live out of your monk's bag, and you have one cushion that you sleep on and then fold to sit on if you sit on it, that you have a certain number of blankets, that you have a room not so big, and you eat at a certain time, and you only do things that you don't dig in the earth, you don't do a lot of these different things, and you don't criticize women. If you do, then you follow through with a different kind of penance for that, and you don't tell lay people they need to do it too. When you do these things, it shows. And people who live in their channels in such a way that they have to find their channels over and over and over again because the wind blows and the earth shakes and the landslides happen and all kinds of things. You got to go get your wife back from her second husband because you've been gone on business for too long. This is our world. Okay, so when you're talking down to the people who are paying for your monastery, it doesn't go well for your order. There's monasteries all over the world, great big monasteries, all in ruins because they forgot that people in the world have to dig in the earth, and they have to skin a cow, and they have to trade for fabric. And these things are part of our lives. And what we want to do is we want to learn methods so that we can go in and out of that when we have to go too far to keep the roof over our head sometimes. We want to be able to come back home and not track all that mud through the door. And so that is the things that we want to support the monks for. But we don't want to be told that we're silly. We don't want to be told that things like that. Now, if you want to reciprocate, but, okay, honey, come on, man. Look, Kale. You need to tone it down. Okay, you need to learn that you got to look at you got to learn to confess. I understand the situation. I understand the situation extremely well in terms of your relationship with my cousin, okay? I do understand the situation really well. I also know you're not going anywhere, and that this anger that you're dealing with is your own. And what you think that you're reaching out for isn't going to be what you grab back when you look at what's in your hand. And even if it is, you'll get tired of it. And that is just how life is. And that is something my guru said over and over and over again. Every single time I ever saw him, whatever it is you want, you're not going to want it 10 minutes from now. You'll eventually get tired of it. When you find your channels, you'll find what you don't get tired of. And that comes from not exaggerating. It comes from making the choice not to engage with a lot of different things. Stay home and read. I started not going to parties, right? I just don't go. When I did go, I just go, I'm not having fun. And I feel like a real party pooper and everything like that. I think I'll just have more fun staying home reading a book. And when you get to that point, you're going to learn something. Until then, you're just out there in samsara. Samsara and nirvana are one, but we're not all the same thing. You know, if the analogy of, has any pain been created if I tell him to slap your face? Not as far as I'm concerned.